Do you guys know why we still fall back in November time-wise? I can't figure it out for the life of me.
Me neither.
I never knew either. Yeah.
It makes no
I
sense.
think we're the only country that still does a time change.
I don't know about that, but I think we should stop.
I do too. Some of our states have even refused to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not even the United States anymore. We're literally in different time zones. And if you're wondering why we're talking about this, it's because we have Ashleigh back yet again for another episode, and she's going to be talking about seasonal depression.
Yes. So
The winter blues, as you called
the
it.
winter blues.
The winter
Yes.
blues.
It's very fitting because today we fall back. Technically tomorrow morning, but it's the start of a dark season, and I thought it would be good to talk about it and to talk about how we can still thrive during the winter months because it can be a difficult time for a lot of people.
Yeah.
When you guys see this, we're already going to be back. But when we're filming, the time that we're filming it, we're falling back an hour.
I didn't wear blue. That's my fault. I didn't get the memo. But you're decked out in blue. You got the blue. So just pretend I'm blue. Anyway, so what do you got for us? Let's learn a little bit more about this.
Yeah, so first I will talk about why it's a thing. Then I will talk about like some general health habits that we can practice to help. And then what the Bible says about seasons and what I have done personally to help myself through the winter because I've seen a big difference. So I would like to share that.
Sounds good.
So a lot of people, it's pretty common to feel kind of down in the wintertime. You know, it may or may not be severe, but usually people can kind of tell, can kind of like feel a shift in the winter.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for this, not just because people don't like the winter, but there are actual physical reasons why this happens. The shorter days with the less sunlight, it affects your vitamin D and serotonin levels because the sun helps produce those things or give us those things. So with less sunlight, you have, generally speaking, less vitamin D, less serotonin, and that affects your mood. The other thing, too, is that the darkness will trigger the production or the release of melatonin, which tells you it's time to go to bed. So you might feel more tired or kind of less motivated to do things because it's dark by 5, you know?
True, that's what I was going to say. Like, it takes away from me wanting to do things in the winter.
Yeah.
I just want to be home and in bed.
Yeah. Same. A lot of people just want to stay in bed, and I don't blame them because it's dark and cold. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about how we can help ourselves through the winter because for some people it actually really does affect them a lot. It used to affect me a lot. I've gotten better, but I used to dread the time change, like really dread it because it's like, okay, this is going to be the start of just a mentally difficult time. And that's not very uncommon, but it's treatable. It doesn't have to be that way. So I just wanted to share kind of how we can help that.
Yeah.
So the first is just general healthy habits, which might not sound very exciting, but they really are important. So eating a healthy diet, protein, vitamin D too, since you're not getting as much of it from the sun, that's important. Making sure that you're moving, because if you spend a lot of time sitting or in bed, that's going to take energy away. It's kind of ironic, but you know, once you get your blood flowing and pumping, you just feel more energized. Yeah. So you want to continue those things. You also, actually, no, I'm going to talk about that later. Okay. I'm going to get into why, what the Bible says about seasons, actually.
Okay.
So in Ecclesiastes especially, you will read about how there's a time for every season, or there's a time for different things. Like there's a time for sowing seeds, there's a time for harvest. One of the things that I have learned is that even the weather gives us different opportunities and has its own unique beauty. So I love summer. I love the warmth. I love being outside. I love the sunlight. And so the winter can just be hard because it's dark, it's cold, and there's so many things that I like to do that I can't really do or I can't really enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
And so for me, there's a noticeable difference in my mood, and my anxiety tends to be up, and it's just kind of blah. You know, you look outside and it's overcast, and it's just, I don't know. It's not fun.
You don't want to be outside.
I don't know. I don't want to do anything.
I feel like my liking of winter has changed a lot since I started running. Because running in the winter, it is not fun.
It's not. It's just not as enjoyable.
No.
It really isn't. So what I am realizing about the different seasons is that there's different beauty and different opportunities in each season. As much as we would love to have all the good seasons last forever, it's just not how it works on Earth, unfortunately.
No.
You know, different weather, of course, comes and go, and then actual seasons that we're in our lives. Good, bad, difficult, thriving, or feeling that we're not thriving, they come and go. What I have learned about winter is that it's an opportunity for me to rest a bit more. Because in the summer, I'm out all the time, which is good. But the winter kind of forces me to rest a little bit more and do certain activities that I kind of just don't have time to do in the summer. So that's what I'm starting to appreciate about winter. And I encourage you to look just at different things you can do during different seasons and how you can appreciate those things more, because they're going to come whether you like it or not. So in addition to healthy habits, I would say the single best thing you can do is get outside.
Yeah.
Getting outside is really, really important because, I mean, you're with God's creation. It's a good place to be. It's just helpful. And it has actually helped me so much over the past few years, getting outside every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. It gets me out of the house. I get some sunlight, even though it might not be much. And I just do so much better. There's actually an app called, I think it's 2000 Hours, where you can track your hours outside, and it's a really good motivator.
I was gonna say I've also noticed a change, because I also like to snowboard. That's something I love about the winter, and that's why before I started running, I started snowboarding.
Yeah.
And then that's why I was excited for the winter. I was always happy. I liked the winter more because I didn't do that much in the summer.
Right.
And the couple times that I go snowboarding, it genuinely boosts my happiness because not only I'm outside, I'm enjoying sun, cold, but I'm also exercising because it takes a lot of strength and a lot of energy to snowboard, and it just boosts my happiness.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, find things that are unique to winter and do them. You know, that's a good strategy. You can't really snowboard in the summer, can you?
And doing them with friends as well.
Yes.
Because we're so isolated in the winter.
We are very isolated. Yeah, so that's another thing. Be intentional about continuing to do the social activities you normally do. And if you have to do more, do it. Get together with friends. I saw something this morning, actually. Someone was writing down the things that brought her joy. And that includes getting together with friends, but also just anything in general that brings you joy. And your general priorities, focus on those things. And it'll be helpful because sometimes winter feels kind of aimless to me. Yeah, like I'm just waiting for it to pass.
Yeah,
But
winter is a season that people just kind of put in a category of, I just wanted to get over with. Let's get to summer as fast as we can.
And that's what I used to do, and I'm starting to again appreciate it. It's better for me, and it can really help with any kind of seasonal depression that you have.
Sometimes even focusing on just the small things in winter and appreciating those small things that are great in winter, especially for me, Christmas in general.
Yeah.
I know you guys can see the set right now. We have it decorated for Christmas. But Christmas is what is my favorite season of all time.
Yeah.
I enjoy Christmas so much, especially of what Christmas entails of family getting together, everybody having a great time, enjoying community, and just being grateful and cheerful about a season that might not be the best.
Right. It's definitely, I'm thankful it's in the winter because it's just something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So
Now, not a lot of people have that community or that
No.
family that they get
Yeah.
to spend. So that makes it almost even worse because it's the one time, at least in our culture, that everybody's getting together, spending with family and friends. And if you don't have that, you're alone in the cold and the dark.
it can exasperate or anything really. Yeah, it can be really difficult. So I encourage you to invite people who may not have a place to go. Make
Yeah.
that season meaningful for them as well. And it will be meaningful for you too.
I've been on that end of not having somebody to spend it with. I don't know if it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. My parents had to like fly out for the holidays because X and Y reasons. So I ended up just staying here.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So a friend ended up inviting me. He's like, dude, I know your parents are out. Like, what are you doing for Christmas? You can just come spend it with our family.
Yeah.
And I went, and it was great. It made it so much better than me just staying home alone.
Definitely. One of the actually I think it was the vice president of Liberty, vice president of ministry or something like that. He always opened up his home to college students during the holidays, especially Thanksgiving, because if people had a hard time affording to go home, they would usually choose Christmas, and so they were on campus during Thanksgiving. So I don't know. I always remembered that, and I want to do that as well. Make sure I'm inviting people who don't have a place to go.
Yeah. Sometimes just opening your door for somebody,
Mm-hmm.
it might be the difference between them falling into a seasonal depression,
Yeah.
or just extending that hand to be able to like take them out of that step. So that is a great solution. Like reaching out to people, I feel like that's a great solution of like mitigate a little bit of the seasonal depression.
Yeah.
Another thing is kind of talking about like environment. Be aware of your environment. There's spring cleaning for a reason because people hoard, you get stuff and you don't really get rid of it. So keeping a clean and organized, wherever you're living, home, room, whatever it is, keeping that nice and clean and organized, and being aware of the things that you have around you, really going to help.
Yes. That's something I'm learning a lot about right now, too. There's a podcast called Paring Down, which is really, really good. And has helped me with my perspective on just stuff and like the space that I live in. And that's something else you can do in the winter, too, is like work on your home, make it a safe and inviting place to be.
Yeah.
Get some painting done.
Yeah.
Do the molding.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in winter where you get to do stuff inside. Take advantage of that time.
Yeah.
Like maybe there's that like studio that you had in your home that you've been just putting random stuff in there and you had it as a storage. Take the time to like renovate it and then just get it back to being a studio and like make purpose for that room.
I mean, take time to do a podcast schmodcast.
I know,
Podcast,
right?
schmodcast.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
seriously, this is a great setup. It's just
use your friend's parents' house
yes.
for free. Thank you, Danny's parents.
Thank you.
And start a podcast.
Yeah, make something of it.
Yeah.
I used to think, oh, I can't go outside, so it's just going to be a rough 3 months. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Be
No.
very intentional. That is what has helped me over the past few years. It's funny because I actually have a lamp. I forgot exactly what it's called. It's on Amazon. Maybe I can post a link.
It's a magic genie lamp.
It's a genie lamp. That's
Yeah.
what we'll call it. I'll put it in a comment under the video or something.
Okay.
But
If you send it to us, we can just tag it in the
yeah, that works.
in
Yeah.
the description.
And
Yeah.
if this is a short, it's somewhere on the short. Wow.
Wow.
For real.
Wow. Yeah, so it's meant to help, of course, bring light enough that it boosts your mood and your energy. It's like a fake sun, basically. But it's funny because my psychiatrist actually recommended that I get it. And so I got it. But I ended up going outside so much in the winter that I totally forgot about it. So I'm going to use it this winter and I will report back and let you know how it goes.
Let us know.
Yes, but
Please do.
that's another tool you can use. I would say, though, that the single most helpful thing I have done is just getting outside every day. Even if it's for 10 minutes a day, walking your dog, a lunch break, just get outside.
Get your jacket, get your boots, get outside.
And you might realize after a while you like it a little more than you think. I'm in a pretty good routine actually of walking every day in the
Yeah.
winter.
There's been a couple times where I'm at work sitting just in my desk, and it's just because I work at an office, so it's a little bit harder to like just fall into that rabbit hole of just like focusing on my work and not doing anything. There's a couple times where I've been like super exhausted, and I take like a 5-minute break to go outside and just breathe some fresh air, and that just kind of rejuvenates me.
It really does.
To go back at it.
Yeah.
So being outside, it does help you so much.
It really helps to regulate you a lot, more so than we realize. So yes, I encourage you to make that part of your routine for sure.
What about you, Michael? What have you had that seasonal depression, or if like have you had stuff that helps you not fall into that?
Here's the thing. I am slightly extroverted, so I need people around at all times. And because I'm still living at home with my siblings, during the winter time, they're not out as much. So they're at home. So I get to bother them. So it kind of evens out. You know, they're gone spring, fall, and summer. They're gone out doing, you know, who knows what shenanigans and whatever. But during the winter, they're home because everybody just kind of chills inside. So that's one thing that helps. The other thing is just inviting people all the time, constantly, to play Mario Kart. If you think you'll beat me at Mario Kart, you won't. Pick another video game, you'll beat me. That's just how
I
it
beat
is.
you once.
You did. You beat me once.
That'll be my highest point in our friendship.
Yeah. And we haven't played Mario Kart since.
Nope.
Nope. Yeah, but like
I can retire now.
I love board games. I love Mario Kart. I love music. So just doing what I can inside. I love playing football. Can't really play football inside, but I just choose something else that I can do inside, and I constantly have people over.
Yeah,
I tire them out. That's what I do.
I see. Yes. No, and I've also noticed too that I study my Bible differently in the winter too, because I have a chance to sit. And you know, when it's nice out, I'm always moving. So sometimes I'll listen to my Bible, which is fine. But I've noticed that I really enjoy just sitting and also like, I don't know, making diagrams or whatever it is, and studying it in ways that I might not do if I'm always moving.
Yeah, I've noticed that for me, winter kind of it's a season for me to like sit back, relax a little bit, and reflect a little bit more. Rather because on the summer I'm just go. So it's a little bit hard to like just stop a moment and reflect on what I'm doing.
Right.
So winter is kind of that season for me.
Definitely. And to be clear, you should always be in the Word. I'm just saying that there are different ways of studying it, and I see a difference in the winter with how I do it.
Oh yeah.
You know? And yeah, it's a season of rest in some ways and reflection, like you said.
And that's how we were designed to be, right? Like there's that cycle of having a Sabbath every 7 days. Or, you know, the winter you relax a little bit more. You're not working as much depending on your job.
Right.
Like for teachers, for example, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Where at least here in the US, you teach and then the summer you have off.
But I also see the value in not doing the same thing through the whole year.
Yeah.
Taking advantage of the change in seasons to be able to change what you do as well. Not necessarily like change careers, but like change the way you do things. Take a moment to like do something different.
I agree.
And change with the seasons as well.
Yeah. Change your podcast setup for the seasons.
Yep. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I used to think that to have a good routine, it needed to be the same all year round. And I'm just realizing that is just not, depending on what it is, just not true. Like I change the way I do things according to the seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also change. This is something like really small, but like it changes how I feel as well a lot. It's, for example, my phone and my iPad, I changed the background, the wallpaper differently throughout the seasons. And it just, I don't know, it brings something different. It just makes a slight change, but it helps me just feel like there's change, and like it helps me just get through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's something's really small and really easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
but it does make a difference. I've noticed that it makes a difference when I keep changing my wallpapers
Yeah.
because it just brings a new happiness of something new in my life.
Mhm.
Even like for working out, for example, you usually bulk during the middle of the fall and in the winter, and then you what's the opposite of bulking?
You cut.
You cut. Thank you. You cut for spring and summer, so it helps kind of keep your body in a healthy routine, because both of them are fairly healthy. You know, if you do them in a healthy way, obviously, but you don't want to be at like 8. Not that I've ever been 8% body fat, but you don't want to be that level all the time. It's just awful for you, and you don't want to be eating a lot all the time because it's not healthy for you.
Right. I mean, if you look at athletes, they have different workout routines throughout the year for a reason, right? I mean, you have your actual season of whatever the sport is. Then you have the off season where you might work on strength more, and just generally like your general physique and fitness. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I also notice now that I've been like running more often and like I'm a little bit more, I've fallen into that passion of running like heavily. I've noticed that on the summer my miles go higher,
Yeah.
and on the winter my mileage drops down. But it's time for focusing on like strength training.
Does your speed go up because you're cold and you want to go back home?
Yes. No, but it genuinely, it's a time for me to like focus more on like core muscles rather
Right.
than running long distances.
Right.
In the summer, it's highly being outside and running long distances rather than just working out itself.
Right. Yeah, and there's a reason for that. If you're a runner, you really need that strength training more than we like to admit usually.
Yeah.
But the winter is a perfect time to focus on that. And summer is a perfect time with the really long days to focus on long miles. So, yeah, I mean, there's a reason for all the different seasons, and if you recognize that and appreciate that, you will do better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I will say that some people do have seasonal affective disorder, which is basically the winter blues on a clinical level. So, if you are really struggling in the winter or any season, I encourage you to talk to a doctor. But for people who it may not be that bad, a lot of the things that we're talking about today
Not like
can be
a
helpful.
deficiency or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once it starts affecting your normal day-to-day
Daily functioning, yeah.
it's when you want to like start taking a look at something else.
Right, because there can be a lot of reasons for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And if you have
yeah.
questions about that, watch Ashleigh's
Yeah.
first episode.
Also,
with
it
us.
could be on balance on your hormones.
it
'Cause
could
that
be
also affects.
hormones. It could be, I mean, some people's vitamin D levels drop so much during the winter
Yeah.
that
Oh yeah.
right. And like Adam, my husband, takes a vitamin D supplement. So, it could be that.
Do you
Could be a
think
lot
that
of things.
affects with how much melanin your skin has, how much you can retain of vitamin D throughout the winter?
I have no idea.
That's a good question.
I don't know. So, wait.
I don't have my phone. Let's look it up.
Okay.
Because, like, I know, for example, different skin colors, it carries more melanin. That's why it's a darker
Interesting.
hit. But I don't know if that allows you to like retain
Retain
more,
it more.
vitamin D.
Okay, you're right. I never knew this. Okay, so melanin is a pigment that darkens skin and absorbs UV rays that the body uses to produce vitamin D. This means that people with darker skin need more exposure to the sun to produce the same amount of vitamin D as people with lighter skin. For example, someone with lighter skin might only need 15 minutes in the sun to produce enough vitamin D for the day, while someone with darker skin might need 30 minutes to 3 hours. Wow.
Whoa, that's a jump.
That's a big jump.
That's a jump.
Yeah.
Wait, so
Wow.
but if you have more melanin, isn't your skin darker?
Yes.
Yeah.
So then if you have more melanin and that's what's responsible for absorbing the sun's rays, wouldn't you think it'd be the opposite?
Yes, which is why I'm a little confused,
Yeah.
actually.
I actually thought it was the opposite. I thought I would need less.
We should look more into this.
We should.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I just know that melanin plays a huge part
Interesting.
in how your skin actually. It could
absorbs
be
it.
so. It could be that like since you have more melanin, you require more vitamin D to like keep up with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
Maybe.
what it is. But
I thought that
wow.
being British and Irish would give me a disadvantage, but maybe
Me
we'll.
too. Oh, also, combining vitamin D with magnesium may also help to increase absorption. So this is why nutrition is really, really important.
Yeah.
Because it's not just one thing. You know, you talk about like one nutrient or vitamin, and there are other things that help you to either use that more or to absorb it. So you really, really want to watch your diet.
Yeah.
I'm always kind of disappointed when I look up, okay, how to help a certain thing, and it says diet and exercise, and it's like, well, okay, but I need something else. No, these are really, really, really important, which is why they will do lab work, even when you're struggling with something mental, because it all works together.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's
yeah.
so crazy how, like, I take some time to reflect sometimes, like, how the body actually works, and it's so impressive that it's so intricate in detail.
Yeah.
That I'm like, God's creation is so amazing of like how the body just works all together, and like one imbalance in an area just like affects everything.
It's incredible. It really is.
Eating healthy is important,
Yeah.
but also treating yourself is important. I'm looking at a box of Dunkin' Donuts right now, and there's a vanilla cream donut that I will be indulging in after this episode. Sorry, Mom, but there's nothing you can do about it.
Actually, I want to talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
Yes.
Dunkin' Donuts, in my opinion, is better than Krispy Kreme when it comes to donuts.
100%.
The Krispy Kreme right off the hot rack, the glazed ones, solid.
Yeah, but I still like Dunkin' Donuts a lot better.
Well, it's because you're from Boston.
Yeah.
Your opinion's still valid, but it's biased. All right. I'm taking a blueberry donut from Dunkin' Donuts over anything else any day of the week. You have something probably more substantial to say.
Yes, I was just going to say, like, find the little things that bring you joy. You might not want to do it all the time. Like, if you're eating donuts all the time, might not be great.
Yeah, don't do that, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just think of the little things that bring you joy and try to do them. It may need to be within reason, but if it's something like Christmas decorations, you know, if you want to decorate a month and a half early, do it. That's okay.
Half a dozen donuts brings me joy.
It brings me joy as well.
Yeah. Donuts are my
For legal reasons, do not eat half a dozen donuts at a time. Maybe spread it out through a month.
Or just don't tell us.
Or tell us, and we can secretly
enjoy donuts.
Enjoy it together.
Yeah. Comment down below your favorite donut.
Mm-hmm. I am a big fan of the glazed chocolate ones.
That's my favorite, actually. That's my favorite.
That's good. I like the original glazed donuts, or
so you're boring.
The Bavarian cream donuts.
Ooh.
The cream ones are
good. The
ones
are filled.
Yeah.
That one is nice. That's kind of like my go-tos. Yeah.
All right. I think to end the episode, we should talk about if we were to eat half a dozen donuts, theoretically, what half dozen would you get? Danny, go.
4 glazed, 2 Bavarian.
Boring. Ashleigh.
I would do the chocolate glazed.
All 6?
Well, I would have a couple of plain glazed in there. Krispy Kreme.
That's practically exactly what you just did, just a different brand.
Yes.
You only go 2 different types of donuts?
Yeah.
Let me show you how it's done. Okay, first of all, you're going to need a Boston cream because that's the most goated donut ever.
Shout out to Boston. Let's go.
Shout out to Boston. Boston cream, chocolate glazed. You have to go original glaze, but I'm only getting one of them. Then you've got to go vanilla or sprinkles. You've got to go. You could do a double chocolate, which is the chocolate cake with the chocolate on top.
Blueberry.
Oh, yeah.
Blueberry.
Thank you, and the blueberry.
I like the chocolate cake one.
Yeah, chocolate.
Okay, so I'm changing mine. So some chocolate glazed, some plain glazed, and chocolate cake.
Something Dunkin' Donuts does really well is the blueberry one, because that is not the regular donut dough.
It's cake.
It's cake dough. So it's like the consistency is different. So that's a little bit better.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about with the chocolate glazed. The chocolate glazed is the chocolate cake donut that's glazed.
Yeah.
Not a boring regular donut with chocolate icing.
No, I could eat 6 regular glazed donuts.
In theory, of course.
No,
In theory. I'm
facts.
trying to help you out here, bro.
Nope. I don't need help. In facts, if somebody wants to send me donuts, please do.
Okay.
Donuts is my favorite thing in the world when it comes to food.
So find something that brings you joy.
Be intentional.
Be intentional
Get
about
outside.
it. I'll let you do this.
Go to the doctor if you need to. And do not isolate yourself.
Also, do exercise because that brings a lot more joy.
It does. And just
Mhm.
overall well-being. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I will also include that link for you.
Yeah, please.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Ashleigh.
Of course. Thank you for having
Appreciate
me.
it. This has been an absolute delight.
Yeah.
And I am now going to delight myself in a donut.
Also, if you try any of the methods that we talked about today to be able to have more joy in your life, let us know how it goes.
Comment.
Yeah.
Also, if you do something different that helps, comment down below as well.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Peace.